Hi, it's Helen Tarrant. Hey, and welcome to another episode of Commercial Property Roadshow with Helen Tarrant. Now, actually today, I'm actually in Sydney, but my lady on the road who does inspections, Renee, is actually up in Labrador on the Gold Coast. And what she's going to share with you is a little property that we're seeing on behalf of our client. It's a fish and chip shop, and she's going to give you a little bit of a rundown on the shops. And then afterwards, I'm going to come back and tell you what to look for if you're buying a retail property, especially now when you're looking at a food store. So I'll see you after the inspection. Bye for now.
Hey guys, welcome to Commercial Property Roadshow. You're on the road with Renee, and I'm currently in very windy Labrador here on the Gold Coast. And I just want to have a little conversation about a current acquisition that we have for one of our clients. It's this really cool little fish and chip shop that's been operating for about 16 years here in this spot. And I don't know if you can see in that camera just how cool this little spot is. These guys are directly across from this view, so it's a tough office. Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Cool little fish and chip shop. It's been here for 16 years, and the current tenant has just signed a lease. The lease commenced in March 2020. Obviously, you know, COVID had hit then, and they had taken some rent relief, but because they were a takeaway shop, they were able to maintain themselves throughout COVID. Obviously, it possibly has impacted their bottom line in the sense that they don't get the tourism that they get from New South Wales. But you know, this isn't forever, obviously. These guys have 40 metres square within the building and 16 metres square outside the building, which is for their patrons to sit and enjoy their fish and chips. And I really like the way that the guy in there operates. It's nice, it's clean, it's tidy. He's on the strata committee. He's got a vested interest in it because he wants to see his business do well. I really like it. I like that he's taken it on board himself to join the strata committee. He would like to purchase the property himself in the long term, just not at the moment. COVID has presented a bit of a risk to him that he just wants to, you know, get through it like most of us. But yeah, it's a good little buy. I think our client's very happy with it. And I just wanted you to see some of the cool spots and things around Australia. It's their view, that is their office. They literally work and look at this view all day. How pretty cool is that? There's a lot of really good complementary trade around here. There's a little Greek shop, there's the Baskin and Robbins ice cream shop, there's a pizza shop. Around the corner there's a little beauty therapy. Above me is the residential.
So I hope you've enjoyed that inspection, and it's a little bit about the area, a little bit about the tenant, what they do. Now, they have been there for 16 years, and now they've had COVID relief since COVID first came in about March, because the border's been closed. Now, Labrador itself is not a purely tourism area. It's got lots of locals, but because they serve like the foreshore area, a lot of people is about dining out. Also, they did a lot in takeaway during that time, because the dining out is an issue, of course. So that's why they got a bit of COVID relief, and that's back to normal as of December this year. So, you know, basically the next lot of payments. So they got 50% waived as per the legislation that came in through COVID. Now, it's always good when you're doing a inspection. We always try to go there a couple of times. So Renee went there during the day so that she can see what the volume is like, and then she also then went in the evening to check out how late they close, what are the surrounding areas like, what are the surrounding restaurants, and also then she went back the following day or next time when she go past. So sometimes we put our clients into these deals and we get them subject to due diligence and finance for about 21 days if we can, and during that time we'll often visit this area maybe 2 or 3 times because we're actually literally on the road during that time. So when we drive past, we just stop by and try to support our tenants, basically our landlords, tenants' properties, by eating there and actually just checking out how it's going regularly. And which is one of the benefits about our services and also being part of our community, is that we got someone who's regularly checking up on your property as well, even if you're from Sydney or Melbourne, you're buying in Queensland. But one of the 3 things I look for when I look at a retail food tenancy right now in this current market is, number 1, I look at where their location is in terms of traffic, foot traffic, because it's really important. If that was going to recover, we want to see how many people they're getting through at the moment, how many people they're potentially getting through at different times of the year, and we want to check out, you know, just in general how they would travel if, you know, say next door closed, or if they have a change of tenancy, and also just in terms of, is it easy for people to pull up and park there? Is it easy for your tenants to actually be able to access, like have a great view, or just sort of have access to all the stock and everything that they need. So we want to look into a little bit about your tenant location, their neighboring tenants, but mostly the foot traffic and anything that's going to obstruct that. So is there any work orders out there? Is there any of these potential issues that may actually stop them and really detract from their income? So this is number one. Number two thing we look at is the rent they're paying and how much, I guess, in relation to their food. So if they're charging, $10 for a sandwich, and the rent is, in CBD, they're paying 60 grand a year for a 40 square meter space, you got to ask, well, how much do they need to generate in terms of a day, and including staff and everything, for them to actually make ends meet? And are they making money? And what is the proportion of the rent for potentially their income? Of course, your tenant is a third party to the transaction, so they're not actually, you're not able to actually get all the financial from the tenant, but to the best of your guesstimate. And when you're on a few visits, you can see that, if a cup of coffee costs $4 and they sell 10 an hour, how much is that going to be? Or, you get to see what they are, and you make a good estimate to whether the business is actually viable. So that's the number two thing we look at. And number three thing we look at is actually the longevity of the property and what you can do with it. So the versatility. So if it was a fish and chip shop, what else could go in there? What else would be suitable for there? So does it have outdoor dining area? Is it undercover? Does it have other surrounding restaurants so you can open late? Does it have a grease trap? What is oversupply in that area in terms of, is there lots of cafes, lots of vegan cafes, lots of particular type of properties with a particular type of tenant? What is the demographic like? So this way we get to see that if your tenant was to, for whatever reason, vacate, or the business didn't survive for whatever reason, then finally you can actually swap them out for a different type of tenant, and they could just carry on the business because the basic fit out is there and the basic layout of the property is already there, so that new incoming tenants can easily get in there without too many issues and start their business. So that's all part of the consideration, and these are the three things you should be looking for when you're looking at buying a retail food tenant in this current market. So I hope that's been helpful for you to get a little bit of insight of what we look for when we go on inspection. But in the meantime, if you want a detailed strategy about commercial property and what is the right type of property you should be buying in this market, go to helentarrant.com, send me a message. In the meantime, hit the bell and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.